You've seen it happen. A friend gets promoted, and suddenly they don't return your calls the same way. A quiet classmate becomes class president and starts talking over everyone. A humble leader wins an election, and within a year, they're unrecognizable. We call it changing, but what if it isn't change at all? What if power doesn't create a new person, it simply removes the mask the old one was wearing? Why does power do this to people? Is it corruption? Is it human nature? Or is something deeper happening, something wired into the brain itself? Scientists have been asking this question for decades, and the answer, it turns out, is more unsettling and more human than we'd like to admit. Here's the first truth. Power doesn't corrupt as much as it reveals. Before someone has power, they are held in check by bosses, by rules, by the fear of consequences. They behave well not always because of who they are, but because they have to. Take away the constraints, and you see who they were underneath the whole time. This is sometimes called the mirror theory of power. It doesn't turn good people bad. It removes the mirror that used to force them to watch themselves. But there's something even stranger. Power doesn't just change behavior, it changes the brain itself. Researchers have found that when people gain power, their brains begin to function differently. The parts responsible for empathy, for reading other people's emotions, actually become less active. It's almost as if the brain says, "You don't need to understand others as carefully anymore. You're the one being understood now." Psychologists call this the power paradox. The very qualities that helped someone rise, humility, empathy, listening, are often the first things to disappear once they arrive. Power also does something sneaky to our sense of self. It convinces us we deserve what we have. Studies show that people in positions of power start to believe their success came purely from their own brilliance, forgetting the help, luck, and people who carried them there. This isn't arrogance in the way we usually picture it. It's a survival mechanism. The brain rewrites the story to protect the ego, and slowly, gratitude turns into entitlement. Then comes the quiet trap: isolation. The more power someone holds, the fewer people are willing to disagree with them. Friends start softening the truth. Colleagues start nodding instead of pushing back. And so the powerful person begins living in an echo chamber of agreement, cut off from honest feedback, cut off from the version of reality everyone else sees. Not because they chose to be alone, but because power quietly builds the walls around them. But here's the hopeful part of this story. Not everyone who gains power loses themselves. Some people, when given influence, become more generous, not less, more aware, more responsible. The difference often comes down to one thing: whether someone was seeking power to serve or seeking power to escape insecurity, invisibility, or the feeling of never being enough. Power doesn't create character. It amplifies whatever character was already there. So maybe the real question isn't, why do people change after getting power? Maybe the real question is, who were they? Quietly, all along, before anyone gave them the chance to show it. Because power doesn't hand you a new personality. It hands you a microphone and lets the world hear who was speaking the whole time.